Hi, my name is Jenny Crawford from WYSIWYG Company. Today we're going to cover how to use the WYSIWYG editor in your WordPress website. So first off, if you're with me today, it's probably because you have a website and you're trying to figure out how to edit your pages or maybe add a blog post. WordPress websites today have a TinyMCE plugin that is built called WYSIWYG, W-Y-S-I-W-Y-G, whatever. Basically what it means is what you see is what you get, and it's an editor that you can use to build content the way you want to see it. We're going to walk you through steps today on how to use this WYSIWYG editor to do things like create bold and headlines, center and add bullets to the text on your pages and on your blog posts. Why don't we start by logging in and opening up a new page on my WordPress website. The first thing I want to point out is that the editing buttons seen here are only showing one line of editing buttons or editing options. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and click on the button far over to the right. It's got a number of boxes. It looks like one line or two lines. When you scroll over it, it'll say toolbar toggle. That's called your kitchen sink. Once you click on that button, it's going to give you a second row of editing options for you to select from. Okay, now that we're looking at our new page, which we will title New Page, I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit of Cupcake Ipsum for us to use to build the page. It's a great little website that I use to generate some filler content, just to walk through and do these little exercises. So we can have here some little licorice sweet brownie cake, jubes chocolate cake content, and what we're going to do is start using all the different little options we have across the top. I'm going to go after this word suite and hit enter just to kind of break that up to show you how these different options work. So just like Microsoft Word would look, you're going to see your bold, italic, bullet points, some things that might look familiar. But once you highlight the words, click on the B for bold, you'll see what bold looks like. Okay, if you want to use italic, you can use italic. These should be pretty explanatory if you are familiar with using email or using Apple Pages or Microsoft Word or something like that to generate a letter. Bullet points is something that is pretty popular within Pages. You go down to your first sentence that you want to include in your bullet points. And all you do is click to the left of the beginning of the new sentence of the first bullet. And you go ahead and push on this button here. It has the three lines, the three circles to the left. After that, as you're going through your content, you get to the end of your first bullet, go ahead and hit enter, and your second bullet will go ahead and automatically pop up. Once you're done with bullets and you want to end them, go ahead and hit that last return and hit your bulleted button again, and you can see it removed the bulleted content. Right? I'm going to go ahead and unbullet this by highlighting the content and clicking on the bulleted list. Another thing that you can use similar to bullet is a numbered list, which you can see here with the 3 lines with the 1, the 2, and the 3. Works exactly the same way. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and unnumber these. Something that you might see on many websites today, whether it's a page or a post, will be testimonials or quotes. So we have this block quote functionality here. Let's pretend that this was a quote by me, Jenny C. Okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this entire paragraph that I want to be a quote, click on the blocked quote button, and you'll see how it's stylized differently. Now sometimes based on the theme that you are working with, this is going to look different from website to website. Sometimes websites these days will even have specific plugins or programs to use just to highlight your testimonials. So just take a look and see what your website has to offer. But this is a pretty standard way to make sure it looks the same on every page or every post. Okay. Most cases you're not going to have to add horizontal lines, but if you're interested in having a horizontal line between 2 paragraphs or to break something up, you can go ahead and click that line. These are the buttons you would select to left align, center, or right align your text content, which you can see here. It's right censored. This also might look good combined with a block quote. It's going to be based on preference. Now, a lot of clients do ask me often, how do we insert a link, or how do we make a link to a different page or a link to somebody else's website? What I'm going to say is, first you have to select what you want the link to be. So in this case, I'm going to go to a website, that Cupcake Ipsum site, and I'm going to copy their link. And then I'm going to come down to my page, and I'm going to write just a neat little comment about them. Text content taken from Cupcake Ipsum. The next step in creating a link is going to be selecting the text or image that you want on your page to become the link, and then telling it to do so. So in this case, I'm going to highlight the words Cupcake Ipsum, and then I'm going to go to the top line of my editor and click on the Insert Edit Link button. It looks like a chain link. Once you click that, a little box, like a shortcut box, is going to pop up in your content. It says Paste URL or Type to Search. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to go to the right of that and click on the gear box that says Link Options. When you hover over it, you'll get the full view of everything that you can do. In your top bar, you're going to have a space that you can go ahead and right click on your mouse and hit paste. And you're going to go ahead and paste the link that you would like this word or this picture to come to. Now, if you're working with a picture instead of words, you can also click on the picture the same way that you would highlight the words in order to select it. Okay? So underneath the URL box, you're going to see something that says link text. Sometimes people like to use the words click here, or click to learn more, or register now, whatever is appropriate for you. In this case, because we're linking to the Cupcake Ipsum website, I'm just going to highlight the words Cupcake Ipsum. Now, in other cases, you might want to link to something that's on your website. So if you look down about halfway into that box, you'll see a blue outlined box that has different pages or media files or PDFs that are listed on your website. You can always select something from there as well, and then go ahead at the bottom and hit the blue button that says Add Link. You have just added a link to your website. Congratulations. While we're on the top line of your editing buttons or your editing options, I want to point out to the right of the link and the remove link buttons is a little option that almost looks like a road. When you hover over it, it says Insert Read More tag. This is a way for you to create a line break in your content. For some websites, you're going to need this for your blog posts if you want to show an abbreviated version of your blog. Or in other cases, if you want to have a little bit of a teaser text with a click to read more. You know, people don't read websites the same way they read a book. So short and sweet with a little teaser text, generate interest to get them to click on something more is going to be better. A lot of WordPress websites today and themes today offer a way for you to set the number of characters before this read more automatically populates on your page. So you're just going to have to take a look at your theme or check with your web developer to see if this is something that you need to use. What you're going to do in this case is start writing your words, and again, we'll use some Cupcake Ipsum. Type that in. Maybe you want to select down one paragraph, and after that paragraph, you're going to go ahead and hit enter and click on the Insert Read More tag, and you'll go ahead and see the dotted line with the word more in it. All of the content above that will show as a preview, and you will have to select a button to read what you find below. Now we're going to go ahead and move down to the second line of your editing options within the WYSIWYG editor. First thing you're going to notice to the left is a box with drop downs. The first option that you see is paragraph. One thing I want to point out is if you use your cursor to click anywhere inside of a new page with some wording in it, is that as you click around, that box will say paragraph. Okay? I rearranged a little bit of text to organize it in a way that this would make sense, where you'd have headings and subheadings throughout a page. but it might just look like a paragraph for you. So for instance, if you'd like to create an article that says something like 3 things not to think about on a Monday, this would be a good way for you to highlight the title of each of those 3 things. In this case, again, so we're using Cupcake Ipsum, I'm going to highlight the first segment that I have here. It says Licorice Sweet Brownie Cake. And then I'm going to select the box, the arrow next to the word paragraph, and I'm going to go ahead and click on my option Heading 2. As you can see, the words appear to be a larger font and at a heavier, bold weight. Okay, again, theme to theme, website to website. Some of these sizes and fonts and colors are all going to be predetermined by the website that you have, but this is a good way to make sure that you have consistency throughout the page. So a good rule of thumb is going to be to use Heading 2 as something at the top of your page, and then use something smaller for subheadings a bit lower. So again, if Licorice Sweet Brownie Cake was basically a title or a subtitle on my page, I want to break out these other shorter paragraphs into something with a subheading in it. I'm going to go down to my next line that says Danish Tart Oat Cake Sesame Snaps Cake, and I'm going to go ahead and select Heading 3. As you can see, it's bold and it's larger than the paragraph font, and yet it's still smaller than Heading 2. Best thing to do is to set up a page like this and test it out on your own. Again, like I mentioned, website to website and theme to theme, everything's going to be a little bit different, and you want to make sure that it's going to work out for you. We're going to go ahead and move along the rest of the line. You're going to see here next to the paragraph box a little U with a line or an underscore underneath. Basically what you're going to use that is to underline any text that you are using. I know that when you create a link, in most cases an underline will appear, but not always, and sometimes you want to use an underline for impact. So if that's the case, this is the button that you're going to use. Next to the right, it's just another alignment. You can justify the words. I know that with a lot of websites, balance and symmetry is very important. So if you're looking to stretch your words straight across the page, you can go ahead and select that button. Now the next button that you're going to find to the right is an A with an underline underneath it. This is the button that you're going to select if you want to change your text color. So once you have some text in place, you're going to go ahead and highlight the words that you want to appear a different color. Then you're going to go ahead and click that little down-facing arrow to the right of the A and pick your text color. You can go ahead and see those changes after you select your color. Now, one thing to consider is while you are working with your web developer, if you're building a website, a lot of times in your theme options, there is going to be a color palette that you have chosen. And in that case, you don't necessarily want to add a lot of different colors. You want to just be clean and neat and simple and uniform throughout your entire site. So while I discourage you from using the text color changing buttons here, you do have that option. To the right of that, you're going to see a little clipboard with a T on it. What I find a lot of times is clients will use something like Microsoft Word to type out their content ideas, and then they copy the paste from Microsoft Word and paste it into a blog post or into a new page or a text box on their website. An issue comes from the fact that Microsoft Word has a lot of coding in it, and when you paste it into your website, it can be very bulky. It also can have code that conflicts with the code that's existing on your site. So if you ever notice that when some of your pages, the font doesn't quite look right, and then you realize, oh, that's something I recently did in Microsoft Word, or I typed it up in an Outlook email body, what I'm going to ask you to do is go ahead and copy that text, and then select this button, and then paste it again. And you'll notice that it's going to paste the words as plain text. So it's going to remove and strip that formatting. The next option over to the right is going to be your special character button. This is where if you want to put a little TM or a little registered trademark button, you can go ahead and select that option and go ahead and find the little registered trademark, and it'll go ahead and insert that for you. To the right, you have 2 more buttons. The first is to decrease the indent and increase the indent. Again, these are some formatting things that might interrupt some of your programming, especially if you're focused on responsivity. So just make sure when you're looking at your content on the finished side, or if you're previewing your text up in the right-hand corner by selecting preview changes, that you check to see what it looks like, but then also take a look and see what it looks like on your mobile phone. These are not options that typically I do advise clients to use, but again, you might have a special need that would require them. Over to the right as my last and final option that I'd like to talk about is the undo button. You do have the option of using Control-Z or Command-Z, if you will, in order to undo your last action. But this is going to be, maybe you paste a large section of text, and when you highlight to change something into a heading size, and now the entire paragraph turns to heading size. You can go ahead and hit the undo button, and then go back to the line of heading and hit enter underneath just to break up the content. Or again, if maybe you accidentally deleted a whole chunk that you've been working on for the last hour and a half, you can go ahead and hit undo, and your work should come right back for you. That wraps up our session on how to use a WYSIWYG to edit the content in your pages and your posts on your WordPress site. I want to thank you for your time and let you know if you have any questions, you can go ahead and reach out to me through email at jc@jcsuite.com, or you can go ahead and give us our office a call at 518-288-3036. We look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great day.